Hello and welcome to the Luv Doc podcast.
So we're diving into the Luv Doc today.
Okay.
See if we can find some nuggets of wisdom and maybe have a few laughs along the way to help you navigate this smoky situation.
Yeah, I think we need to clear the air on this one.
Literally and figuratively, right.
Right.
So the Luv Doc starts off with a real head-scratcher.
Oh.
He says, smokers are cool. Now, I don't know about you, but that feels a little outdated, to say the least.
Yeah, a bit out of touch with what we know now about smoking and the health risks.
Right.
I think the Luv Doc is known for his kind of tongue-in-cheek style, though. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's using this to kind of point out how much our views on smoking have changed.
How they've evolved. Right?
Yeah, over time.
Like what used to be totally normal is now like...
a big no-no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes on to talk about growing up in the 70s when smoking was everywhere.
Oh, wow.
He paints this picture of his doctor, his gym teacher.
Really?
Even his mom, all smokers.
Oh, wow.
Get this. They even had designated smoking sections in his junior high.
Oh.
Can you imagine that?
It's hard to fathom these days.
Yeah, it's wild.
It really highlights how much societal norms can change, right?
Right.
I mean, what we consider normal now might be totally taboo in the future.
It's true.
What do you think?
It's a great point. It makes you think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, back to the Luv Doc's advice, though.
Okay.
He talks about California's smoking ban in restaurants back in 95.
Okay.
And he really goes all out.
How so?
Compares it to the apocalypse.
Oh, wow.
Joke, so we must be living in a simulation because how could society survive such a massive change?
He's being a little dramatic, isn't he?
Maybe a little.
But I guess he's tapping into that kind of intensity that comes up around lifestyle choices and rules. And
yeah, where do we draw the line, right?
Yeah, like freedom versus, public health.
It's complicated.
It is.
And then buckle up.
Okay.
Because he goes on a full-blown rant about cigar smokers.
Oh.
Calling them, let's just say not very nice names.
Okay.
And comparing it to something I can't repeat on the air.
All right, fair.
It involves personal hygiene. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think we get the picture.
That's a lot.
So what's the takeaway there, do you think?
I think he's trying to get at the idea of consideration for others.
Right.
Like when you're a guest in someone's home, you have to be mindful of their comfort and well-being.
Absolutely.
Filling their place with cigar smoke doesn't exactly scream considerate guest.
Not really, no.
No.
It comes down to respect, I think.
Yes.
These unspoken social contracts that kind of govern how we interact with each other, especially when we're sharing space. And I think when those expectations are broken, that's when problems start to happen.
Absolutely. And in this case, the Luv Doc is definitely on your side.
Oh, is he?
He says the roommate was totally in the wrong for not being upfront about his smoking habit.
Right.
You had no way of knowing, and you have every right to ask him to smoke elsewhere.
I agree with that.
Yeah?
Being honest and upfront is so important when you're living with other people, whether it's smoking or food preferences or just like general tidiness.
Right.
Just being open about it from the start really helps prevent these misunderstandings.
Totally. And allows everyone to set those clear boundaries right.
Exactly.
It's easier said than done, though, right?
It is.
Like, how do you actually have this conversation without things getting out of hand?
Right.
It's like you want to stand your ground, but you don't want to make the guy feel like unwelcome.
Yeah.
Especially since your boyfriend told him he could stay until he finds a job.
Oh, wow.
So who knows how long that could be?
Right. It does make things a bit more complicated.
It does.
But I think the first thing is you got to talk to your boyfriend.
Okay.
Just him alone.
Okay.
And really explain how you're feeling. Are you frustrated? Are you resentful? Are you worried about the secondhand smoke?
Right.
Just lay it all out.
And it's important to use I statements, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel uncomfortable when the apartment smells like smoke.
Exactly.
I'm worried about the long-term effects of secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
That way it's not like you're blaming him or attacking him.
Right. It's about your own experience.
Exactly.
And then once you've talked to your boyfriend, you can both approach the roommate together.
Okay.
And just make it clear that you appreciate him being there. You understand he's in a tough spot.
Right.
But smoking inside is just not an option.
And that's where the Luv Doc's point about disclosure really comes in.
Totally.
Like, if the roommate had been upfront about it,
right,
you guys could have had a conversation about it before you even moved in. Yeah. It would have been a whole different story.
Yeah, I would have saved a lot of trouble.
Totally.
So what are some things you can do now?
Right. Like we've established no smoking inside.
Yeah.
What are some practical solutions?
Well, maybe designate a specific smoking area outside, away from windows and doors so the smoke doesn't drift in.
Makes sense.
And if he's a heavy smoker, maybe he'd be open to trying like nicotine patches or gum.
Well, that's a good idea.
While he's inside.
Yeah.
Just to kind of help manage those cravings.
That's a great suggestion.
It shows that you're trying to be supportive, but also, looking out for yourself.
And he is looking for a job, right?
He is.
Maybe you and your boyfriend could help him look into options that offer temporary housing.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Or maybe even help him find a place that's more smoker-friendly.
Right.
If that's what he prefers.
Yeah, it's about being firm, but also compassionate.
Right.
Like, you're not trying to kick him out.
No.
But you also have to prioritize your own well-being.
Exactly.
It sounds like there is a path forward.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it involves some tough conversations.
It does.
So how should she approach these conversations?
Yeah, what's the best way to talk to her boyfriend and his roommate about all this?
Well, I think it all comes down to the tone.
Okay.
You want to be assertive. You want to be clear about your needs, but also understanding and respectful of their situation.
Right.
And remember, your boyfriend's in this too.
Yes.
So you got to approach it as a team.
It's all about finding that balance. Right.
It is, yeah, between being assertive and being understanding.
Yeah.
Not always easy.
Not at all. So if we kind of circle back to the Luv Doc's advice, what do you think is the most important takeaway from all this? I think for me, it's the communication thing.
Yeah.
Like being open and honest right from the start.
Right from the get-go.
If the roommate had been upfront about the smoking, you guys could have set some ground rules before you even moved in.
Would have saved a lot of hassle.
Totally.
And even now, having that honest conversation is the best way to figure out a solution that works for everybody.
That respects everyone's needs.
Yeah.
And it's not just about this situation.
Yeah.
It's like a bigger lesson about advocating for yourself.
Exactly.
In any relationship, really.
Partners, friends, family.
Yeah. It's easy to fall into that trap of avoiding conflict.
It is, especially when you're trying to be a good host.
Right.
You want to be welcoming.
Yeah, you don't want to rock the boat.
Exactly.
But speaking up for yourself?
Yeah.
Setting boundaries?
It's not about being controlling. It's about having a healthy relationship.
Where everyone feels good.
Yeah. Respected.
So for our listener, it sounds like it's time to have that conversation.
It is time to clear the air.
Might be a little awkward.
Might be a little bit.
But it's the best way to move forward.
Definitely. And remember, there are solutions out there.
Right.
Like that designated smoking area we talked about. Maybe even looking into other housing options for the roommate.
Yeah.
If that's what it comes to.
It's all about finding what works for everyone.
It is.
Well, the Luv Doc might have a pretty wild sense of humor.
He does.
But he also brings up a good point.
He does.
Sometimes you got to speak up for yourself.
You do, even in those close relationships.
It's about those boundaries. Communication, finding solutions.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Hope you got some helpful tips, a few laughs.
Definitely.
And maybe the courage to clear the air in your own life.
And remember, communication is key.
Always is. Thanks again.
To read the column that spawned this podcast, go to austinchronicle.com/columns/the Luv Doc. There are probably worse things to do with your time, right?